In today's video, we're going to be rocking some banned candies that can kill you.
10 banned candies that can kill. Number 10. Hippie Sippy. The 60s were a more experimental time, and that's probably the only explanation for how a product like Hippie Sippy ever made it onto shelves.
Okay, so this candy's called Hippie Sippy or something like that. And it was made in the 60s, so that's not good. Back in that day, everything was so weird. Like, people would literally make the weirdest things. I swear back in that day, they put cocaine in Coke or something like that. Hence why the drink got the name Coke.
The sweet treat consisted of multicolored chocolate balls that were contained within a vial, and to get to them, you had to suck through the needle. The similarities to drug use weren't accidental, but were in fact the whole point of this candy. It was designed to replicate hippie drug culture.
Wait, so the whole point of this candy was to get kids to try to do drugs or replicate doing drugs? Yet again, the 60s were a weird time. Were my parents born during the 60s? I don't think so. No, my parents were born in the 70s or 80s. That's kind of crazy that they were born so long ago.
The needle and syringe being associated with heroin use, and the colored balls representing uppers and downers. To make things even worse, each Hippie Sippy came with a button that had slogans such as Hippie Sippy says I'll try anything, and we sell happiness.
What is up with this candy? Like, what's the point of the kid eating it if it's going to try and get him on the drugs? I think I can see why this is banned now. It's literally a gateway treat to drugs.
Needless to say, sense prevailed and the products were pulled from the shelves less than a year after being released. Making drug use feel fun to children clearly risks them moving on to harder candies later in life. So this could have potentially been one of the most dangerous products to ever have been developed.
Exactly, like why would you want to get that to a child? Children are so impressionable, so you need to be careful what they see whenever they're younger. And if they're taking stuff like that, it's not going to end well.
Number 9. Kinder Eggs and Wonder Balls. The only way chocolate could be made any better for kids is if it includes a plastic toy to play with once all the sugary goodness is gone. And that's exactly what Kinder Eggs and Wonder Balls tried to offer. The Kinder version is available around the world, and each one contains a plastic egg that contains a collectible toy to assemble.
I'm sorry, but them toys are the worst things ever. They're like the really bad toys you get at McDonald's. I haven't ate Kinder in a long time. Like, I was never into them as a child. I never ate the little ball things. I kind of wish I did. Like, imagine getting a wee toy, but the toy would literally break after a day. Like, the toys were rubbish.
But for a long time, they've been banned in the US. It's all because of a law that was introduced in the 1930s that strictly prohibited non-nutritive objects from being embedded within any type of food.
Okay, that's a bit weird. So because the chocolate's got plastic in it, it's not allowed in America. America's a weird country. Like, they've got some really weird laws, haven't they? The only way I could see them getting banned is in case the kid chokes in the toy. Like, that's a reasonable excuse. But I don't understand why they've banned it.
The concern was that some people wouldn't be aware there's something in the treat that can't be eaten, and it would therefore pose a serious choking hazard.
Okay, there it is. That makes a lot of sense. I thought it was due to the plastic in the inside, but it's actually because it's a choking hazard. Okay, for once I'm actually supporting what America's doing. That's quite smart. Kids would honestly choke so easily. You need to be careful.
Number 8. Toxic Waste Chew Bar. Toxic waste candy has become popular recently because of its extreme sourness.
I used to eat them all the time. Oh my gosh, I didn't realize that they were banned somewhere. That's kind of crazy. I used to get the little yellow tubs, and I'm pretty sure the most sour ones were the green ones and the raspberry ones. I haven't ate them in years, but they literally ruin your teeth. Like, my teeth used to hurt so much after eating them.
But there was one product in the range, the Toxic Waste Nuclear Sludge Chew Bar, that was banned in 2011. It had been originally launched in 2007, but there were serious concerns about the ingredients that were used to make the candy.
Oh my gosh, what if they put in the candy? Thinking about it now, I've never seen a bar like that. I don't know if that's the only bar that's got banned, because I think I've seen other things. Maybe it was some type of different candy brand.
Not, as you might suspect, in regards to how they made it so sour, but more as a result of where and how they were produced. The company's factory was in Pakistan. And following tests, the FDA revealed that they had detected significant levels of lead within the chew bars.
Lead? Isn't lead the stuff you use in a pencil? I don't really know what lead is, but all I know is that it's bad and you shouldn't consume it. So the people who were making these things in Pakistan literally put lead in the candy. Are they literally trying to poison the kids?
To a level that could be potentially harmful to small children, infants, and pregnant women. Regulations require lead levels to be below 0.1 parts per million.
Lead levels? So there's actual lead in candy? Oh my gosh, I'm never eating candy ever again. To be honest, recently I've really cut down on what I'm eating. Like, I don't eat any junk food or any sweets or anything. All I eat is natural cereal, yogurt, water, and fruit. You guys, I'm changing. I'm a changed man.
And the bars were found to have at least 3 times this limit. Candy Dynamics, the company that sells the toxic waste range of candies, complied with the recall. The bars were removed from stores, and instead of reworking the recipe, they gave up on that particular candy for good.
So them candy bars had 3 times the amount of lead that's meant to be in one. Oh my gosh, nah, I can't. I'm never gonna eat a toxic waste ever again. They really are what they're called, aren't they?
Number 7. Roadkill Gummy Candy. There are countless different versions of gummy candy available in stores. And in 2004, Kraft thought they had come up with an idea that would help them stand out among the rest. Roadkill-themed gummy candies. Each one was in the shape of chickens, squirrels, and snakes with tire tracks on them. But what was intended to be a tongue-in-cheek joke soon began to cause problems. They ended production of the treats the following year after a series of campaigns by animal rights activists.
Please don't tell me they had animals in the candy. Or was it because it was animal shaped?
Who claimed they trivialized the idea of injuring animals. Through fears that the product sent a message to children that it was okay to harm animals, Kraft was forced to relent and rethink their strategy.
Okay, I'm sorry, that's just stupid. I eat candies like Percy Pigs all the time and I've never wanted to harm a pig. I understand animal rights activists and I completely support them, but that's just stupid. No child is gonna eat a candy of an animal and then go out and slaughter an animal. No child does that. Like, are you stupid? Come on.
Number 6. Lucas Mexican Candy. Candy from South America is one of the most in-demand products around the world. But a company called Lucas began targeting their products at children.
Is that a liquid candy? They remind me of brain lickers. You guys remember brain lickers? Whenever I would lick a brain licker, I'd always get so scared that the ball would literally pop out and get stuck in my throat. I literally used to cut it in half and drink the liquid. I'm so surprised how my teeth haven't got ruined.
Known as Lucas Mexican Candy, the powdered candy was sold in a shaker container that children would use to shake it into their mouths. Others were seen shaking the powder onto a table, arranging it into a line, and then sniffing it.
Kids would sniff that? Absolutely not. What is wrong with them children? I can understand if you get salt or flour and pretend to sniff it because I used to do that, but then I'd never do coke. But I don't know why kids are trying to sniff that. I've got a feeling their parents have been doing inappropriate things in front of them.
Which immediately worried people about the similarity with drug use. Lucas claimed that this was the result of using the product wrong and that it was designed to be lightly sprinkled on fruit to make it taste better. But they should have known that kids would find a less healthy way of consuming it.
No, they shouldn't have. I'm sorry, children know that they shouldn't do it. Honestly, I don't understand why some of these companies have been shut down. It's just a stupid reason. If you see your child doing that, don't let them have the candy. End of.
Number 5. Haribo sugar-free gummy bears. Haribo is one of the world's most popular candy brands, but despite making plenty of products that kids and grown-ups love, they haven't always gotten things right. In 2014, their sugar-free gummy bears gained attention because of some rather unfortunate side effects that were experienced by people who ate them in large quantities.
I think I know what's gonna happen. I've got a feeling that the sugarless gummy bears are made for diabetic people. And usually if you eat candy which is meant for diabetic people, you'll have diarrhea. I don't know if that's the reason, but I guess we're about to find out.
The reason for this was the replacement of the sugar used in normal recipes with lycosine, a substance that's almost as sweet as sugar, but contains half the calories. Its main ingredient is maltitol, which is a sugar alcohol. But our bodies can't fully digest it, and if it's present in high enough quantities, it can start to ferment in the stomach.
I don't know what that means. Either you're gonna have diarrhea or get really drunk.
Because of this, the Amazon reviews were rather detailed, with some calling it napalm and saying that it caused intestinal distress, and reminiscent of trumpets calling demons back to hell.
So basically people got diarrhea. That's actually happened to me. Here's a mini story time. Whenever I was back in school, we had a class called Home Economics. Our teacher brought in diabetic sweets for everyone to try out because we were learning about diabetes. I didn't know that you were only meant to eat eat like one of them, so I decided to eat like all the sweets. Next thing I knew, I was on the toilet literally 2 or 3 hours later, completely having explosive diarrhea. And I mean explosive. Like, I don't want to get into too much about it because I don't want you to be sick, but oh my gosh, I've never had diarrhea like it. Usually sugar-free sweets are meant for people who have diabetes because they can't really eat much sugar, but you're not meant to eat a lot of them sweets because it literally will cause diarrhea. So there's a fun fact, and now you know that if you ever see sweets that say sugar-free, don't eat lots of them, eat a small amount of them.
Number 4. Exploding gum. Candy companies are always coming up with new varieties of tried and tested favorites, but there is such a thing as going too far. A Ukrainian chemistry student learned this to his cost in 2009 after supercharging his bubblegum with tragic results. He liked to increase the sour taste of his favorite brand, so he would often dip it into citric acid before chewing.
Yeah, well then he obviously is gonna get injured. I don't know what citric acid is. Isn't that the stuff that like erodes stuff? Like, you don't touch that stuff. Did this bubblegum literally explode in his mouth or in his face or something like that?
On this occasion, however, he used the wrong powder and instead dipped it in explosives. All it took was one chew and his gum exploded his jaw, and most of the lower part of his face were blown clean off, and he died soon after.
Oh my gosh, he died. Well, I mean, he shouldn't have been messing around with chemicals. He didn't deserve it, but maybe God was like, yeah, your time in this world is over. Why would you try to mix chemicals with stuff? That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And why does he have citric acid and explosive stuff? Honestly, it might be better now that he's gone because he might have accidentally made a bomb.
Number 3. Free candy. You might think that the best kind of candy is free candy.
Never take free candy from someone because it's literally gonna have drugs in it. That's literally the first thing parents tell their kids, is not to take candy or food or drink off somebody because it's probably gonna be contaminated.
But in Madrid, Spain, the traditions of giving any sweet treats for free has actually been banned. On the 5th of January each year, towns across the country hold a Christmas parade called Cabalgata de Reyes, which sees 3 wise men greeting children before handing out gifts. The men are taken through the streets to a church in a carriage, and part of the tradition involves throwing candy from the carriage into the crowds.
I bet you somebody who's got like some issues in their head has drugged the candy or put something in it, and now loads of children have got sick. I swear I've heard about this a couple of times. It's usually to do with vaping. Usually kids will buy like vape liquid and then it'll be spiked with something and then they'll end up in hospital.
It has, however, led to a number of injuries as children scrambled to collect what they can. And in 2013, a 6-year-old boy in Malaga was killed when he went into the street to collect some candy.
Oh my gosh, that's awful. I was thinking all along that some person had like spiked the candy, but somebody got crushed. Oh gosh, that is quite scary, isn't it? Thinking about it now, how was that allowed? Like, why were they throwing candy onto the street so that little kids could grab it? A kid's obviously gonna get injured.
Number 2. Lollipipe. Even though lollipipes were never intended to be sold to children, their availability in a wide range of flavors meant that it was inevitable that kids would get their hands on them, and this posed a real problem. Made from candy, these pipes were designed for smoking certain substances through.
Okay, I'm gonna have to skip that one because it talks about illegal stuff and I don't want to get this video demonetized. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that that's actually true. Why was that made into a candy? Anyways, let's go on to the next one.
Number 1. Candy cigarettes.
Okay, I can't even show that as well. I guess that's the end of the video, you guys. That was some of the banned candies that can kill. Moral of the story, just don't eat candy because it's not good for you. Anyways, guys, sorry I couldn't show you the last 2 because I don't want to get this video taken down. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, smash the subscribe button. And yes, I will see you all in my next video.